One of the main focuses in Jaynect Group, and one of the reasons why I was interested in starting the organization, obviously want to get you guys' thoughts on this, is to venture out. You know, being in corporate America for 5 years, you basically get to a point where you might be using skills or may not be able to use skills that you have and possess, and you want to develop those skills. And so, one of the main reasons that Jaynect Group was so advantageous for me was gave me the opportunity to use that platform to develop those skills. I wanted to do public speaking. I wanted to basically work in other capacities to develop the skills for other future ventures that I might have. And that's kind of how that kind of served for me helping out a nonprofit, doing those things, adding goodwill to the community.
Well, I think it's just with interpersonal relationships, being able to connect
Definitely.
with people and to build rapport. And that's kind of meeting people where they are to be able to uplift and just to see a smile. It's like energy. It just kind of goes.
So I get it. I think that's kind of similar to my passion that I have. I have a passion for underprivileged children, and that's not something that I get paid for. It's not a monetary advantage that I receive. It's an emotional advantage and personal building that I have. I just love to work with and encourage and inspire individuals who may not have as much as I have and encourage them. But alluding to Daryl's point as well, that was that was one of the reasons I started Jaynect, is because I wanted to build an organization that gives back to the community, that shows respect for other individuals who don't have as much as we do, and we can uplift them. Two, to work on individual skills that I may not be currently working on that I wanted to develop. The Jaynect Group, when I originally started it, it was meant to be for a team of young professionals who work as project managers. So working as a project manager is you have the best of both worlds. You're a manager, and you have to work on discipline because you don't have someone over you telling you what to do. So that builds a certain skill set that you may not have at work. I have a book of business where I have to call out and reach out to people. Here, I have to be proactive and I have to stay on it. So I think it's very important that, especially for young professionals, to not become complacent with just everyday work, because it becomes a revolving door.
Sure.
Same thing. You wake up in the morning, you hit your alarm,
Right.
put your clothes on, you go to work, and then have such a long day. It's so easy to come home, watch TV, and then go to sleep. And you're doing that every day of the week. And as you get older, you don't want to go out anymore. So on Saturdays, what you're doing, you're watching Netflix on TV. So your life becomes a revolving door. You do the same thing over and over. So I think it's very vital and important that we don't become lackadaisical and lazy as a generation. Because keep in mind, we have next. We're the next CEOs. We talked about this. We're the next presidents. We're the next vice presidents of companies of the United States. So we have to maintain a certain level of integrity amongst ourselves when dealing with business, dealing with us personally. And I think it is a responsibility for us to stay active outside of work.
Yeah, definitely. So you have that, and then you have what we're talking, with nonprofits, right? And mainly people that are in a corporate American setting, or not in a corporate American setting, but in any type of setting. I know we've all been in those situations where, we go to school for one thing, and we graduate, and we think we're going to use that job skill or that major as soon as we get into that workforce, and we find ourselves doing menial tasks. And what happens to a lot of people is they basically settle, and they don't grow. And there's a number of reasons why a lot of people never, reach their full potential. And so one of the things that I think from an application standpoint or, very practical standpoint that doing nonprofit organizations or doing volunteer work serve for people and why young professionals definitely need to explore those opportunities is for a reason for what we've all just talked about, right? To that interpersonal relationship, to develop that, not knowing where that may go. I personally felt like when I was in corporate America, I didn't really feel the need to develop those relationships because of the industry that I was in. I couldn't do a lot of my job functions outside of work. It wasn't my responsibility. So, when I left the office, I'm going home and I'm not developing no relationships. But when I became a business owner and, I had to get around, and meet people and make connections and find creative ways to solve problems, then, I don't know, if everyone has the opportunity to gain something for that or do something like that, I think the world will be a better place. I think, quite honestly, in economics they call it dead weight loss. It's basically the foregone effect or economic gain of one decision being made. Well, if everyone pursues this I don't know, this self-actualization, this sense of development where they may not be getting it instead of basically settling in the corporate sense, then I think from an economic standpoint, that would be better for this country. If you look outside of that, I mean, globally, there's a lot of benefits from it. And so that's why I think, nonprofit can definitely serve in that purpose. And I think everyone should explore, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot we look for satisfaction in whatever we do.
Sure.
In corporate America, I want to get that paycheck that satisfies me or satisfies my wife. Which, so, but in a nonprofit organization, why do I do what I do? It's the children. What I'm getting satisfied by their smile. It's appreciation, which we really don't get in the workforce.
Right.
It's do your job. It's control.
You can go home.
Yeah, it is. No positive reinforcement whatsoever. Just
Yeah,
what keeps us going is that paycheck. And what keeps us going in nonprofit is that smile. Is that, oh, wow, you made a difference in my life. It feels good.
For me, if we're talking about young professionals, then of course we should always be out and thinking and growing. I think what it comes down to is if we're talking about not getting out of your routine. So we're speaking of somebody who maybe wants something more out of life. That starts with having that desire inside, you know what I mean, to always be telling yourself, I need to be thinking, I need to be growing because I want to do this or that. But then from another standpoint, for me personally, it's just building relationships. You never know who could be a huge part of your future or not. I don't know who said it, but whoever has the most friends wins whenever you're in business or anything like that. So just having a strong rapport with somebody that maybe I met a couple years ago at a nonprofit function, and now I'm an established business owner and I can go back and do business with that person because they trust me and they've known me for a while and they've seen me grow and stuff like that. So always putting yourself out there, putting your face out there, putting your name out there, a good name out there, and establishing your reputation to where when people hear your name, they know who you are.